Hello everyone and welcome to my Soap Twist 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Luna Nozawa sat on the edge of her bunk in the quiet, echoing corridors of the Los Angeles County Jail, her hands gripped firmly in her lap, the air heavy with the aroma of despair and stale coffee. The young woman, once a ray of hope in the stormy world of Forrester Creations, felt the weight of accusation shatter her spirit. She had been detained on charges of tampering with paternity tests, a scandal that spread like wildfire throughout Los Angeles's high society circles. The Logans, Forresters, and Spencers had all turned away, murmuring charges of betrayal and deceit. Luna's mother, Poppy, was missing, and her brief romance with Liam Spencer appeared to be a distant memory, broken by lies and machinations. The cell door clanged open, jolting Luna from her daydream. A burly, indifferent guard motioned for her to follow him. "Visitor," he grumbled, bringing her down the sterile corridor to the visitation room. Luna's heart pounded. Who might it be? Not Steffi Forrester, whose cold demeanor had sealed her doom in court. Not Hope Logan, who had previously expressed sympathy but has since removed herself from the situation. As she entered the austere room separated by bulletproof glass, her eyes widened when she saw a man she didn't recognize. He was tall, impeccably dressed in a cut charcoal suit that screamed old money, with sharp features framed by a well-trimmed beard and eyes that penetrated like daggers, dark, intriguing, and carrying secrets she could only fathom. He took up the phone from his side of the glass and motioned for her to do the same. "Luna Nozawa," he murmured, his voice silky and powerful, tinged with a subtle accent she couldn't identify, possibly Eastern European or something more exotic. "I've come to bring you out of jail." Luna's breath caught. "Who are you? How do you know my name?" "Names are for those who fear the shadows," he said, a mysterious smile on his lips. "Call me Victor. That's all you need for now. I know everything about you, the paternity test switch, the night with Jack Finnegan, the web of lies spun by your mother Poppy and her sister Lee. I know you're innocent, framed by forces bigger than the Forresters themselves." Her skepticism was clashing with her apathy. "Innocent? The evidence, the DNA results. Everyone believes I did it to trap Liam or ruin Ridge." Victor's expression changed as he looked about. "Evidence can be manufactured, my dear. I've spent years unraveling the threads of deception in this city. The Bold and the Beautiful isn't just a soap opera of fashion and romance. It's a battlefield of corporate espionage and hidden agendas. Poppy Nozawa isn't who she seems. She's tied to a syndicate that manipulates the elite for profit. And you're collateral damage." Luna's mind was racing. Poppy had always been vague about her background, hinting at a lavish life before Luna was born, but nothing like this. "Why help me? What's in it for you?" Victor chuckled quietly, the sound without warmth. "Let's say I have a score to settle. Lee Finnegan owes me big time. She covered up Jack's existence to protect her precious family, but secrets like that have a price. Help me expose her, and I'll clear your name. Refuse, and you'll rot here while the Forresters dismantle everything you love." The security officer banged on the door to indicate that time was finished. Victor stood and inserted a little card through the gap under the glass. "Be ready tomorrow at dawn," he said before disappearing into the shadows of the visitor lobby like a ghost. Luna didn't get much sleep that night. Visions of her life before the arrest came flooding back, interning at Forrester Creations, catching Liam's eye with her vivacious energy and the forbidden desire that led to that fatal night. But Jack, Poppy's secret son, had complicated matters. The paternity test manipulation charge arose from a fabricated document that implicated Luna in switching results to make it appear that Liam was the father of her child. In reality, it was all Poppy's doing, a desperate attempt to gain a stake in the Spencer fortune. Luna had unearthed parts of the truth, but it was too late. The police had swept in on the basis of an anonymous tip from Lee, who wanted to permanently conceal the scandal. The dawn broke with a metallic shriek as guards roused the captives. Luna was taken aside for processing. Victor waited in a secluded room, surrounded by a sleek lawyer named Elena Voss, whose reputation preceded her, known for clearing the guilty on technicalities. Bail has been posted, Elena said, handing Luna a release document. An anonymous donor. Conditions: you stay under Victor's protection until the trial. Stepping out into the glaring Los Angeles sunlight, Luna entered a black SUV waiting curbside. Victor climbed into the seat beside her, and the driver drove away without speaking. "Where are we going?" she inquired, holding her little possessions. "A safe house in the Hollywood Hills. No one will find us there. We have work to do." The safe house was a modernist fortress perched above the city, complete with glass walls and hidden security cameras. Inside, Victor revealed his actual self. He was more than simply a mysterious benefactor. He was a former operator for an international consortium that specialized in blackmail and information exchange. "I infiltrated the Finnegan Circle years ago," he said over a breakfast of delicious croissants and strong espresso. "Lee's husband, Jack's father, was my mark. He double-crossed me, faked his death, and left me for dead in Monaco. Lee covered it up, raising Jack in secrecy. Poppy was her accomplice, using the boy as leverage. Luna solved the mystery. So, the paternity tests, Poppy switched them to implicate me, hoping to shift blame from her own schemes." "Precisely. But I have proof. Digital footprints, hacked emails, even a witness in Tokyo who saw Poppy with forged documents." Victor pulled up a laptop, displaying encrypted files, timestamps matching the test alterations, bank transfers from Lee to Poppy, and audio recordings of hushed conversations about eliminating loose ends. As days turned into a tense alia, he taught her evasion strategies, such as spotting tails and using burner phones. Their friendship deepened, tinged with unspoken attraction. His brooding intensity contrasted with her fiery resilience. One evening, as the sun set behind the hills, Victor revealed a rare vulnerability. "I lost everything to Lee's lies. My family, my empire. Helping you is redemption." But danger was always nearby. Steffi Forrester, the ever-vigilant CEO, engaged private investigators. A black sedan followed them down Mulholland Drive, prompting Victor to make a daring escape by turning down side streets and losing them in a construction zone. "They're closing in," he warned. "We need to strike first." Their plan became clear. Infiltrate a banquet at the Forrester home, where Lee would be there, rubbing shoulders with Ridge and Brooke. Victor falsified invitations, and Luna, dressed in a stylish gown, pretended to be a journalist. The evening was a frenzy of luxury, with crystal chandeliers, champagne flutes, and rumors of new designs. Luna spotted Lee across the room, dressed elegantly in pearls and joking with Eric Forrester. They slipped into Lee's private suite and accessed her laptop. Victor cracked the password and downloaded incriminating files. But bells went off. Security was notified by a suspicious maid. Guards swarmed and guests frightened. Victor beat off 2 intruders with perfect martial arts strikes, while Luna stole a USB drive and fled through a service exit. They encrypted the data after returning to the safe house. It exposed everything: Lee's orchestration of the cover-up, Poppy's involvement in the test fraud, and even connections to Deacon Sharp's nefarious operations at Il Giardino. "This will exonerate you," Victor replied, touching her fingers. In that instant, desire ignited. A kiss born of adrenaline and shared secrets, bodies entwined on the leather couch while the city lights twinkled below. But betrayal loomed. Poppy, sensing the heat, struck a deal with Bill Spencer, promising dirt on the Forresters in exchange for protection. She stormed the safe house with hired goons, weapons blazing. Victor shielded Luna, getting a grazing gunshot in the shoulder. "Run!" he exclaimed. Luna gathered the proof and ran to a concealed garage, hotwiring a car as Victor had instructed her. She dashed to the Los Angeles Times and handed over the files to a trusted editor, revealing the truth in a front-page exposé. The story exploded like thunder. Finnegan's scandal rocks fashion empire. Paternity plot unravels. Lee was arrested during a press conference. Poppy went into the night, and Luna's identity was clear. Charges were dropped, and she emerged as a hero. Victor, who was healing in a private clinic, came to see her at the hospital. "You did it," he said softly, hugging her close. But my war with Lee isn't over, Luna said, her smile steely and unwavering. Then we finish it together. Their alliance grew into something more, a partnership forged in fire. As Luna reintegrated into society, offers flooded in, Forrester Creations wanted her back. Liam desired reunion, but she chose independence, creating her own design line with Victor's support. Shadows of the past lingered, with whispers of Poppy's reappearance and Lee's trial testimony implying wider plots involving Avance and Spectra remnants. One stormy night, Victor revealed his true identity. Victor Kane, heir to a shadowy fortune who was once involved in Sheila Carter's manipulations years before. Sheila owed me, too, he said. Her obsession with the Forresters nearly destroyed us both. Luna nodded, recognizing the cycle of vengeance in their culture. Together, they planned the last blow, testifying against Lee and uncovering buried proof of medical fraud at the hospital. The courtroom drama proceeded with a bold and the beautiful flair, with Ridge's evidence colliding with Brooke's empathy and Steffi's cross-examinations cutting like stilettos. Victory arrived, but at a cost. Victor departed after the trial, leaving a note. Some shadows must remain in the dark. Find your light, Luna. Heartbroken but empowered, Luna stood erect, ready for whatever drama lay ahead. Luna sat on the chilly, damp bench in her cell, staring at the gray walls as if they held answers to questions she'd never asked. The moonlight streamed faintly through the barred window, creating long, distorted shadows that moved over the floor like restless souls. The hours had passed in a flurry of anticipation, anxiety, and astonishment. How had things gotten to this? How had a single night turned into an injustice, trapping her like a hunted animal? Her thoughts were interrupted by a faint sound outside the door, a cautious, almost undetectable scratching, followed by a whisper. I can help you. The words were gentle and slow, as if carried on the night's breath. Luna froze, and every muscle in her body tightened involuntarily. She hadn't anticipated or trusted anyone, but the voice was familiar in its certainty. Who is there? She called, attempting to appear bolder than she felt. A shadow passed just outside the bars, a guy dressed in a long coat with his hat pulled low to disguise his face. I'm someone who knows you don't belong here, he told me. His voice was calm, confident, and almost unnervingly composed. If you trust me, you'll follow my instructions exactly. Luna paused. Her instincts told her to stay still, wait for official channels, and for anyone to confirm this. But deep inside, a glimmer of hope flared, a small light that refused to die. So, why should I believe you? She inquired, her voice barely above a whisper. Because if you don't, you'll be here for a long time, he explained simply. His words held no menace, yet the weight of inevitability pressed down on her chest. She examined him, attempting to discover the truth from the shadows. There was something familiar about his stance and the careful way he moved, as if every movement had been planned and practiced 1,000 times before. And there was tenderness in his voice, hiding beneath the cryptic veneer, a guarantee that this was not a hoax. Luna finally nodded, after what felt like an eternity of heartbeats. Okay, what do I need to do? Luna noticed the man's first expression of emotion, a tiny smile. Remain calm and do exactly what I say. First, I need you to meet me in the far corner of the yard during the guard change. That's your window. The days that followed were a careful balance of observation and patience. Luna observed the guards, learned their routines, and timed the exact seconds between shifts. Every day, the mysterious man left subtle hints, slips of paper tucked into corners of her cell with precise directions, maps written on scraps of toilet paper, and small, reassuring notes to convince her she wasn't alone. On the third night, the plan came together. Luna's heart pounded as she knelt in the darkness of the yard, her gaze fixated on the far corner where he had promised to meet her. The entire world appeared to hold its breath as the night conspired with her captor to create the scenario for her escape. Then she spotted him. He extended a hand while dressed in black and moved fluidly. Now, he replied simply. Without saying anything, she took it. The first obstacle was a tiny corridor behind the storage sheds, which was undetectable to patrolling guards. They went silently, like ghosts, flowing through shadows and moonlight. Luna's pulse raced, fear and adrenaline combining in an amazing rush. Every creak in the floor and distant bark of a dog set her nerves on edge. They finally reached the outer wall. The man crafted a set of tools with painstaking care. Luna watched, holding her breath as the strain in her muscles grew tighter and tighter. The lock finally clicked open, and he extended his hand once again. "We're not safe yet," he said. They slid through the darkness, weaving down alleyways and deserted streets. Luna realized she didn't know his name. She wanted to inquire, but something told her it wasn't safe just yet. There was a narrative in his eyes, a depth of experience that talked of previous escapes, rescues, and possibly a life lived on the verge of disaster. Hours passed silently. The city was sleeping, unknowing that one of its own was on the verge of liberation, assisted by a shadowy stranger. Luna saw a peculiar affinity developing between them, created through necessity and silent trust. Finally, they arrived to an isolated safe house, a modest chamber concealed behind a simple storefront. Inside, the man lit a lamp, creating a pleasant glow that stood out against the bleak darkness outside. "You're safe for now," he added. Luna fell onto a chair, relief flooding over her in waves. "But they will come looking. They always do." She stared at him, truly looked, and in the flickering light, she saw a face partially covered by shadows, but indisputably human, complex, troubled, and determined. "Why are you assisting me?" she asked, her voice shaking. He hesitated, revealing a rare crack in his armor. "Because I understand what it's like to be stuck. And I understand what it is like to have someone believe in you when no one else does." Luna nodded, absorbing the gravity of his words. She wanted to learn more about this intriguing man's life, but the danger outside reminded her that questions could wait. What mattered was survival, independence, and the shaky trust that had led her here. Days became nights in the safe home, which served as a transitional region between imprisonment and the unknown. Luna and the man acquired a rhythm, a wordless understanding that went beyond words. He taught her not just to evade, but also to observe, listen, and anticipate danger before it arrives. Each lesson was not only practical, but it also taught us about trust and resilience. One evening, while they listened to the distant bustle of the metropolis beyond their gates, Luna asked, "Do you ever get caught? Do people like you?" He gave a small smile, shadows flitting across his face. "Sometimes. But we adapt and endure. That is the point. We transform ourselves into ghosts, remaining unseen until we choose to appear. And on rare occasions, we get to rewrite a story that was never supposed to finish the way it did."